my beautiful people. Today I wanted to do like a Sephora haul Tarte collection review, and so I'm gonna be talking about everything from foundation to palettes to eyeshadow palettes to lip products and other things that are from the Tarte collection and the Tarte brand. So let's get started. First thing I'm gonna talk about are these Tarte Pro palettes collections, and this is what they look like. They're black with like a gold label right here, and then you open it up, and this one is an eyeshadow palette that also I've raved about and talked about in some of my other videos. This is absolutely stunning. I feel like the quality of their eyeshadows is some of the best like in the market as far as like Sephora or Ulta goes. And so these are the shades that come in this palette. There's 3 shimmery, 1 dual chrome, a lot of mattes, and I feel like this is a great palette because you get to play around with it a lot. And you have your peachy tones, your berry violet tones, and then you have your everyday browns. So I feel like the quality of this palette is absolutely great. This is definitely one of their palettes from their collection that I would actually recommend. Now, another palette from the same kind of collection is this Tarte Pro Glow palette. And this is actually like a shimmery highlighting and contouring palette. It has all these highlighting shades, 4 of them, and then 1 powder contour, and then 1 cream contour. Now, I'm not the biggest fan on the cream contours, especially because even though this palette opens like this, and it does have like 2 compartments for like the cream and the powder, in this row right here, the powders of the highlight are still in the same kind of row of the cream, so some of the fallout does get into the cream. The cream contour is pretty okay, but nothing like spectacular or great. Now this contour right here is absolutely amazing. It's a gray toned contour. It's very nice, very neutral, blends very nicely. And then you have the four highlighters. So you have one that's very bright and light, then you have a more gold toned, then you have a more of like a neutral, and then you have a deeper gold. What I use mostly from this palette is just the powder contour and these 2 highlights. So for me personally, these 3 are not being used that much. Personally, I would not recommend this palette unless you're absolutely into highlighting, because there is a lot of like highlight shades. You're never gonna run through all these highlighters, and this one is almost like halfway down because I've been using this contour a lot. So for me, this palette would be a pass because I feel like you can get regular powder contours separately for much cheaper, and these highlights, even though they are really great quality and they are very nice in like the shade collection range, they are not like very useful for every single person. So either I feel like someone uses like the darker tones and either one or both of the contours, or they're using the lighter highlights and then some of the contours. So I feel like they could have done like 2 separate palettes just to fit more people without purchasing like product that you might not actually use. So for me, this palette would be a pass. Now, one that I would recommend, a contour kit from the Tarte collection, from the Tarte line, is this palette right here, because they have different tones of this palette. So they have this one, they have a darker toned, and I feel like this one would please more people because I feel like there's more to work with, and they do come in different shades. So for example, this one has like a setting powder, a highlighter, another like highlight, a setting powder, then you have your blush, and then you have 2 contour shades. And I feel like this, in the same kind of price range, is a better deal than the actual Pro Glow palette. So if I had to pick between the 2, I would stick with this one and then maybe get like an actual highlighter on the side if that's what you're looking for. So moving on, another big palette I have that I would definitely recommend is the Tarte Graveyard Girl Swamp Queen palette. I made a whole video on this palette. It's absolutely stunning. It has a bronzer, a blush, a highlight, and then 9 eyeshadows that vary from peachy tones, golden tones, violet tones. It comes with a little brush, and I feel like this is a great palette because it has a little bit of everything. The quality of the shadows is really nice, really creamy, really buttery, and this palette is definitely something I would recommend because you have everything in one. So if you're going to work or getting ready in the morning for school, I feel like, you know, you have your base and then you can go towards this palette. You have your cheek products, you have your eye products, and then you put on some mascara or liner, lip, and then you're out. So I feel like it's very convenient for them to have all these products in one, and the quality of this palette is really nice, even though the blush has a little bit of shimmer in it, which I would prefer for it to be matte. But overall, this palette is a definite thumbs up for me. Now, moving on, another thing I wanted to talk about is this lip facial scrub, and this actually I've been searching for quite some time a while back, and it was sold out everywhere, but it just relaunched. And even though it smells really nice minty, it's a very soft lip scrub, so I don't feel like it does a lot of like work on your lips, you know, in order to like get rid of all your dead skins and, you know, kind of exfoliate your lips. I feel like for me it's too soft of a formula, so when you put it on your lips it kind of almost melts, and then it doesn't have enough of the exfoliating particles in order for it to do like a lot of good for your lip. So I feel like there's many more out there of lip scrubs that are actually better. For example, like the e.l.f. brand, they have a lot of nice kind of lipstick looking lip exfoliators, and those are a little bit more dense, a little bit more firm on the lip, and much more exfoliating. So in comparison to the price, the e.l.f. lip scrubs are about like $3-4 compared to this almost being like 16 or something. So I would definitely pass on this. It smells nice, it feels nice, but it's not gonna do what you expect it to do for a lip scrub. I would definitely pass on this one because even though I really wanted to get it because I heard a lot of good things about it, I feel like there's a lot more out there that will do more than this product right here. Moving on to foundation, I have 2 foundations that I would actually recommend. It's these 2 guys. One is the SEPHORA Rainforest of the Sea Tarte foundation, and this comes in like a little bottle. It has a little cap, and then it's kind of more liquidy, as you can see, so it's like medium to full coverage. You can build it up. I feel like it's very smooth on the skin. It's like a natural finish, so it's not fully matte. And the only thing is this little dropper, I just find it sometimes annoying to kind of needing to like twist it up, pull it, and then kind of release it. But besides like the packaging, the formula on this foundation in general is really nice. Like I said, it's a natural finish, so it does have that little bit of like a glow to it. And you can definitely set it with powder because I usually set my foundations with powder unless they're matte. And it's a really nice, you know, water foundation. The other foundation I wanted to talk about is this Amazonian Clay Full Coverage Foundation. And let me tell you, it is actually super full coverage. They don't kid about that. It's really thick in a formula. It comes out like this. It's in a little squeeze tube, and it is great for full coverage. It's absolutely great. It has SPF of 15 sunscreen, and what's great about this line also is that they have so many shades available. They have like over 20 shades or something like that. So even though you might be struggling to find your actual match online, you can definitely go into like Sephora or Ulta, and they have testers, and you can test it on your skin, on your face, and see which shade fits you best. But I definitely love this foundation. It's a full coverage. It is kind of mattifying, but I still kind of set it under the eyes and around my T-zone. But I feel like it lasts a very long time, very smooth, very blendable, and it's overall a great foundation. From foundation, I'm going to talk about concealer, and this is the famous, you know, Tarte Shape Tape. It has like a thicker applicator, doe foot applicator like this, and the coverage on this is surreal. Like, it is so nice. It's so thick without being like creasing, it's really creamy without being too drying or too oily. The formula on this is absolutely great. The only thing is that if you don't want to spend $20 on this actual Shape Tape, I didn't find, because like there's been like recommendations going online, the Instant Age Rewind from Maybelline. This formula and this little concealer form and applicator is absolutely great, and it's a perfect dupe for the Tarte Shape Tape in my opinion. It is a little bit less of a thick consistency, but it has a very similar coverage. It covers all your spots, your dark under eye circles, and it's absolutely great for the Tarte Shape Tape. So if you're thinking of buying this, or if this is too much, definitely look for this in the drugstore. I feel like you'll be pleased because they have a similar, coverage and a similar kind of formula. Okay, next thing I'm going to talk about are the Tarte lip paints, and I have quite a collection, but they're nothing like extraordinary. They are really nice, really smooth, really creamy. The two on hand I have are the Bunny collection with the palette, the Swamp Queen palette that I purchased, and these two shades are absolutely great. This is Texas Toast, and then Swamp Family. They're great. The consistency is kind of like a moussey consistency, but they're very pigmented. They're very comfortable on the lips. Definite go for the lip paints. They're nothing like too spectacular, but they're very comfortable and they're very nice on the lip in general. They have a great selection of colors as well. Definitely a thumbs up. Last two things I'm going to quickly talk about is the Tarte Pro Glow To Go and the Tarte Pro To Go Tarte eyeshadows to go. Now, the palette, I feel like this one is a little bit more of what I was talking about, where it has only one contour, two highlights, and it's a little bit narrowed down in the shade selection. And I feel like the shades of the highlights are super stunning, and the contour is pretty nice too, and they're very creamy, very blendable, and I would definitely recommend this to add into your collection as on the go, like makeup travel kit types of palettes, and I really enjoyed this one. And last but not least, what I'm going to talk about is this one right here. This definitely blew my mind. I was not expecting for it to be this amazing and pigmented. This is a little To Go eyeshadow palette, and it comes with 6 total shades. It has 2 great shimmers, and well, actually it has 3 great shimmers, or 2 great shimmers, 1 highlight, 3 mattes, and the formula on these is so amazing. The pigmentation and creaminess is just absolutely wow. With one swipe, look at that. I love these shades. I love how they're actually put together. All of these ones are just so amazingly pigmented and creamy. And then for the shimmers, they're just so nice. And I feel like this is an amazing palette for the go, for any day, any time of an eyeshadow. Look at those. You guys see that? The pigmentation with just one swipe. They're so creamy, so buttery. I feel like this is a must. Out of everything that I spoke about, this is one of the top things that I would recommend, that I think every single person, girl, boy, whoever's into makeup should own one of these. It's so cute and small, but the pigmentation on these is astounding. Definite thumbs up. Super recommendation from me. And it's great because usually smaller palettes, if brands do smaller palettes of eyeshadows, or a condensed, contour kits or whatnot, the pigmentation is usually not as great as in the original palettes. But this is absolutely dead on gorgeous, amazing, blendable, thick, pigmented. There's nothing negative I can say about this palette. That it has warmer shades, peachy, browns, highlights, it has shimmers, a little berry. It's absolutely amazing. And if I had to recommend anything from this line, it'd be this little guy right here. And for $20, if you guys don't want to spend $50, $40, $50, $60 on a palette, eyeshadow palette, I feel like this is amazing because it has anything you need on the go. Super great pigmentation, super great quality, and it's about $20, you know, so it's pretty affordable as well. And definite thumbs up, get your hands on these. This is so awesome. I love this one. That'd be it, you guys. Thank you guys so much for watching and joining me today. Hopefully I gave you guys like a pretty good review of like what I would prefer to get and not to. You guys can also follow me on Instagram and Twitter, superlady246, and thank you guys so much. Have a great one. Bye. Mwah.